A very emotional moment for me. When I sold Steamers, I had figured this was the end of Steamers.
The day that I found out that Steamers is coming back and at this amazing place, Campus JAX, I was like the best Christmas gift.
When Terrence Love from Steamers and JAX kind of combined to create these Steamers Jazz Nights, it just seemed like the most perfect thing to have happen. The whole musical community here is excited about that.
Seeing, wow, what a lovely place. It's got beautiful sound, light, video, everything, and the food was fabulous. And they were doing the thing right.
One of the things that I love most about Steamers and then now at Campus JAX is when the sound system and the stage is so beautiful, the best musicians in the world want to play there. And I was able to call guys that I never dreamt of playing, that would get so excited. And now it's the same thing. I talk to musicians and I go, hey, you want to come down and play with me at Campus JAX? Campus JAX, yes.
Well, I've been all over the world and I've seen a lot of different musical environments. The talent here is so off the charts. I mean, it's hard for people that aren't from here to understand how good here is, how good the musicians are here, how good everybody. I mean, it's like all the people that I have on stage with me coming up are just so talented. It's ridiculous, the talent pool that we have to draw from here.
Only the best musicians, all the time. It's one of the things I want to do is present the music in the greatest way. I want the musicians to feel welcome. I want them to feel at home. I want them to feel like they're just not background music.
Here at Campus JAX, we have a love of the music, the audience. The team here has just made so many efforts to not only bring the musicians and the audience together like Terrence was doing for so long, but to do it at a really high quality. I've been doing clubs for, again, more years than I care to count, and this is a very rare example of how a music venue can run and be set up. And I feel nothing but care is given to what we're trying to present here and how we're trying to present it.
Now we've been doing this for months, and it's worked out fantastic. I see a great future ahead.
From what I know about Terrence, he did it because he loves the music.
Is this good?
And everybody responds.
Does this work?
Because you have that atmosphere.
Cool.
And it really is recapturing that magic. There's an electricity. You know something special is happening and you're a part of it. And that's what I loved walking into Steamers all those years ago. And that's what I love about walking into Campus JAX.
I love Terrence Love, and I'm so excited that he's a part of the team here at Campus JAX.
Steamers Jazz is back, and it's at Campus JAX.
Steamers Jazz at JAX. How you doing, folks? I'm Terrence Love, Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX. How you doing, everyone? I want to thank you for tuning in. Some tough times right now. Musicians and the music we love make even the hardest times better. Real happy to have with us Tony Guerrero tonight. He's a good friend. He's a musician, a songwriter, producer. His career, as a jazz trumpeter has spanned, 75, 80 years by now, He doesn't look that old, but he really is. And he's released, I believe, 9 of his own albums and given him great critical praise. A lot of top 20 jazz radio play, and he's played or performed with other artists like Freddie Hubbard, Paul McCartney, Joe Sample, Tom Scott, Billy Idol, Brian Wilson, Dick Van Dyke, Slash, and Kate Flannery, and most recently musical director for TV and film star Jane Lynch. And he's just a great guy, a wonderful man himself. Let's hear it for Tony Guerrero. How you doing, Tony?
Good. I'm not hearing any applause. I'm assuming it's there we go. How are you, Terrence?
I'm doing really good. You know, I'm really excited about that. For those of you who don't know what's going on here, we're, obviously Campus JAX had to close the doors to the public for the thing that's going on here, but we are right in the midst of really growing into this big thing happening with Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX again. And we're trying to think of some way to help perpetuate this. Also for all the musicians who are out of work at this point. And I know I've noticed a lot of people on Facebook are doing some little small time things in their homes. And we thought maybe we can take this technology we have, hook it up with some of our fans and friends and see if they can help us. We've got a little link at the bottom of the page right here that they can donate. We'd certainly appreciate it. We're going to spread the wealth in any way that we can. All I know is that I'm really excited about it, and it's great to have you, my wonderful friend here, Tony.
Well, Terrence, you have always been ahead of the curve. In fact, I can say that your personality, in fact, has been encouraging social distancing for many years. So,
at least it's my personality and not my breath, right?
Right. Well, I thought they kind of all go together. So
Yes.
Where do we start, Terrence? What are we doing?
Well, I don't know. Let me see. Let me take a look at what we have here. I think what we're going to be doing is we have quite a few artists that are going to be joining us tonight.
Right.
We have some live streaming things plus some pre-taped recordings of interviews / performances already. We've got the wonderful Gina Saputo and Joe Bagg are going to be joining us. Leah Booth and Gareth Price are going to be along here. We have Bill Cantos. We have Kate Flannery is going to be here too. And I think that, what's that guy, Tony Guerrero? He's going to do some live stuff. And you're even doing some like what was it? Nat King Cole's daughter, Natalie Cole, did that.
Oh, right. We're doing a little something with Chris Barron.
Chris Barron,
yeah.
A little live plus recorded with Chris Barron.
Right.
It should be exciting. And I think that's about it. I think we're going to be going into our first clip, I believe.
Wait, did you mention Bill Cantos?
Yes,
You
I did mention
okay.
Bill Cantos. And another thing I do want to mention before, of course, this is a first time we're doing this. We'll do our best, and you can go down there in the comments and say all sorts of wonderful things about Tony, his personality, and there's also a link down there in Facebook that we hope you can join us. And, even if it's $1 or $2 or whatever, we'd certainly help that. Give the kind words to the musicians. They need to hear that. They're missing the audience in addition to their livelihood.
We definitely are. It's I was putting on my suit and thinking, I'm not sure when I get to put a suit on again. So,
yeah.
So it's a very sad time. It's a tough time to be a musician and in California right now. So, really around the country, but we've had some hard hits this year. So my love goes out to all my musician friends. I miss you. I can't wait to see you and make music in person together again. Hey, I can set up this first clip if you'd like.
Please.
So we're going to hear a tune. This is from a night when my band was performing at Campus JAX, and this is from some time ago. I think if I remember this, this might have been as long as maybe the first year we were performing there. And this is going to feature Leah Booth, who's going to be with us later live. And this is on a tune I wrote called "I Only Want to See You Smile." Or, I only need to see you smile. And then Tim Ellis and John came out to our little shop. Terrence, I don't know if we've talked about it, but
right.
My wife and I and my in-laws, we opened a little vintage shop, and so we filmed some stuff out there last week before we were told to shut ourselves in. So we filmed some little segments that we're going to use tonight just to kind of show you a little bit of what that shop is like. That is not intended to sell anything tonight. I mean, if you're interested in items, you can always let me know, but that's not what that's about. It's just sort of to kind of show you what we've been up to, and it's just sort of fun, and that's where we're going.
People want to know about your tune.
I know, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Make my plans like I ought to, but I usually miss them by mile. Don't need my dreams to come true every time, no. I only need to see you smile. No gloomy clouds in the sky could bring a tear to my eye. They just can't bring me down. The only thing that I know could ever make me feel low is just to see you wearing a brown suit. I never fret if I see trouble coming. It happens once in a while. Trouble may find me, but I never mind. See, I only need to see you smile. No gloomy clouds in the sky could bring a tear to my eye. They just can't bring me down. The only thing that I know could ever make me feel low is just to see you wearing a brown suit. I never fret if I see trouble coming. It happens once in a while. Trouble may find me, but I never mind. See, I only need to see you. Oh, how I love to see you. I only need to see you smile.
It's probably no secret that I have a fascination and a great love for things that are mid-century. Primarily, it started with the music that I love from the 40s through the 60s, that era of jazz, what I like to call cocktail jazz, where it's just this feel-good, swingy music, and again has this optimism to it that was reflected in the style of that era in all sorts of ways. So again, the architecture, the clothes, this, all the fonts, everything about it, and the music is very much like that as well. A lot of great music came out of that era. I love so much about that period and the style of it, finding myself collecting stuff like barware and obviously ties. I love vintage ties. As I started collecting this and that collection grew, pretty soon we realized I have more stuff than we have room. And so Rat Pack Vintage, our little store here, was a way for me to justify my vintage shopping habit. My sister-in-law, Kenna, she shares this same passion. She's actually maybe more over the cliff than I am. And we were constantly sharing texts about like, oh, look what I found today, look what I found today. And we finally spoke to our spouses, Candace, my wife Candace, and Matt, and kind of talked them into letting us do this. And then they're both on board. And so the four of us have been kind of building this collection together and just working on this little shop together. But it's just been this shared love we have for this era and for these items that we now get to buy the stuff we love. And some of it we keep for ourselves, but a lot of it we're able to put out there.
That was great. Hey, Tony, that shop looks pretty cool, man. I remember I went there the day before you opened.
Right.
It wasn't quite so clean, but it looks really neat. Looks neat.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And, our next guest that we have here, wonderful, wonderful jazz vocalist and pianist, and they happen to be married, Gina Saputo and Joe Bagg, and
just accidentally happened.
Just I don't know, it's hard to believe, but a lot of people actually that met at Steamers or somehow were involved ended up getting married. We actually even Shelley Berg got married at Steamers. Oh, yeah. Like we had overcapacity fire department stuff and all that.
Well, that's where that's also where Matt Johnson and I started dating. So
that's right. Oh, that's right. That's right. I think that's where. Gina first played at Steamers when it was probably 17 years ago, 2002 or something like that. I'm not sure. 2001. Oh my God. Is that Gina Saputo I hear? Hi. Is Gina live with us yet?
Oh, hey, Gina.
I just don't see her.
What's up, Joe? I see you.
Oh, maybe I got to turn their thing on, or nope, that's me. Well, I'm not seeing her now, but she's there anyway. Gina, I think in 2001 she must have been about 6 or 7, and just fortunate to have her play there so many years, and probably one of the most prolific singers I've ever met and watched growing. And then she goes and marries Joe Bagg. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful thing. Joe played at Steamers for so many years too, with so many different bands. And, the marriage of that, just like the marriage here, how do you like this? The marriage of Steamers Jazz and Campus JAX, it's got to go, the jazz together. And then those guys produced this baby that turned out to be another talent on their own.
Yeah.
So what do we have in store for us? Or Tony, what do you got to say about this?
I was just going to ask Gina and all of our guests today, Gina and Joe, how you're adjusting. How are you switching over right now to this new world we're in?
Yeah, it's challenging for sure.
Well, we're teaching all of our classes online, moving everything online for the colleges we teach at. So music classes, vocal classes, technique classes, they're all moving online. And at the same time, we're full-time daycaring with our 5-year-old. So that's interesting. I was in a meeting with about 10 people discussing something. They had just asked me an important question. And I was explaining the question as my daughter shoved oranges in my mouth. So it's a whole new world.
Right.
Well, listen, we really appreciate you guys coming and help us do this. For those of you who are just tuning in, what we're trying to do is with all the troubles that are going on and all of the musicians that are out of work, Tony and Gina and Joe and all the rest that are going to join us, they're going to lend us their talent and brighten up the day a little bit, and hopefully we can help them out. There's a link on the Facebook thing if you want to donate something. If you don't, it's okay. We just like you to listen. And there's also a place that you can comment. Give us your love, give us your enthusiasm, and tell us your story. We just appreciate you being here. So what are you guys going to do today?
Well, first, we just want to say thank you for having us, and also Steamers and JAX. It's a great combination, and it's such a pleasure to be a part of it. We hope everybody is staying safe and staying indoors and being very careful, and that you guys are also don't feel so alone. We're all in this together. So we thought we would do an old standard called That Old Feelin'. Should we go for it?
Take it away.
Okay.
Gina Saputo and Joe Bagg.
I saw you last night, got that old feeling when you came inside. I got that old feeling the moment that you danced by. I felt a thrill, and when you caught my eye, my heart stood still. Once again I seem to find that old yearning, and the spark of love inside is still burning. There'll be no new romance for me. It's foolish to start without old feeling. You're still in my heart. Well, I saw you last night, and I got that old feeling when you came inside. I got that old feeling that moment that you danced by. I got a thrill that when you caught my eye. Well, my heart stood still, and once again I seem to find that old yearning. And I knew the spark of love was still burning. There'll be no new romance for me. I mean, to start with that old feeling that we know. I saw you last night, got that old feeling when you came inside. I got that old feeling the moment that you danced by. I felt a thrill, and when you caught my eye, my heart stood still. Once again I seemed to find that old yearning, and I knew the spark of love was still burning. There'll be no new romance for me. I'm eager to start with that old feeling. I got that old feeling. I got that old feeling. And it's still in my heart.
Beautiful, Gina. Beautiful, Joe. Really, really good. Hey, listen, we're a little bit over on schedule. Would you be so kind as to do another song?
We hadn't thought about this.
We
Okay.
haven't thought,
Go
should
ahead.
we don't worry about me?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do one more. Should we just do it one time down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's one
Thank you.
we recently did for to honor Mr. Jack Sheldon, who Joe played with for many, many years, and I got to play with him for the last 5 years, and he just passed away. And this was a tribute to him that we did together, and it's called "Don't Worry About It."
Don't worry about me. I'll get along. Forget about me. Be happy, my love. Let's say that our little show is over. We stole the story. Why not call it a day the sensible way and still be brave? Look out for yourself should be the rule. Give your heart and your love to whoever you love. Don't darling, why should you cling to some fading thing that you used to be? If you can forgive, don't worry about me.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And Gina. Wow, that's
Hey,
incredible.
be sure when you're done filming with us to go check out the comments on Facebook. People love you guys. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
so
people
much.
love you. I was just going to say that. Speaking of the comments, you know, all the people that popped in. Elena Gilliam, Champion Fulton from New York is on there right now, and I also want to thank John Wynn and Golden, the video and sound people from JAX doing this, and of course Tim Ellis and Jack Jasper. You know, tough times in this jazz business, huh? Really tough. And you know,
and in an industry that's always been so easy.
Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, I want to show you guys all something. You know, I brought this out earlier because he named this the Quarantini. Tony did, and I said, "Well, what about the Steamers, Teeny?" And Tony says, "Well, I recognize that. It's an empty tip jar."
Yeah.
And, you know, here's the deal. You know, all of you guys, and there was a time when, man, it was really tough at Steamers. It was very hard to keep that thing open for 22 years. And the musicians came there and they did it and they helped out and they continued to do that. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to somehow bring a little bit of joy into the hearts and the ears of the people. And we're so blessed to have people like Joe and Gina to come on, and Leah and Gareth and Tony and Kate Flannery is going to be here a little bit later. And we have all sorts of things going on. So I think Tony's going to bring in this next clip. He's got a little thing to talk about, and we'll go from there. And also,
we're going to say goodbye to Joe and Gina then.
Oh, yes.
Bye, my new
Thank you so much. We love you guys. And
Stay
check out those Facebook things that people are just going nuts over there. Please comment all you want. And also, there's a link on there if you feel like donating something.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
Have a great show.
Thank you.
By the way, if you haven't already grabbed a beverage, please do. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. I was going to try to do an actual Quarantini, which I'm imagining would be a little gin, little vermouth and a little Theraflu mixed in. But I just went for the standard whiskey. So, what are you drinking, Terrence?
It's LaCroix
or
LaCroix or whatever you want to call it, soda water.
Got it.
I'm one of those teetotaling guys.
I love you for that.
Yeah. I keep my nose clean and my and right now, wait, I think I do have to check my temperature though. I've got one of those electronic things, the digital thermometers.
Right.
The only problem about it, and this is my only blue part of the night, when I went and I hit the thing, I was trying to see centigrade to Fahrenheit,
right?
And there's an option there, and it says oral or rectum, and I wasn't sure which one that you're supposed to do first, so I stuck with the oral. Okay. There you go.
You could pretty much throw that thermometer out. All right, so here we go. This next clip is another cut from a time we performed at Campus JAX, and this particular tune is going to feature Leah Booth, who's going to join us shortly. And this was a song that I wrote after she had made some comment about being able to whistle. And so I thought, well, we should do a song that features the whistle. And I couldn't think of any other than Whistle While You Work. And so I wrote this little song to feature her on the whistle. And it turns out she can whistle. So that's what this tune is. It's called Whistle a Little Tune. And then I think we're going to go back to Rat Pack Vintage and check out some more stuff.
I don't really like you, 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. I don't think you're handsome, 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. Oh, too soon a little tune could give my heart away. Just a simple melody that jiggle me up, call it a day. I don't really love you, 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. I don't think you're handsome, 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. Oh, too soon, that little tune could give my heart away. Just a simple melody, the jiggle baking up of my mind is where I call it a day. I don't really love you, 'cause if I really did, I'd whistle a little tune. I'd whistle a little tune for you.
One of the things I really love is finding new vintage or new old stock, which is basically something that is from the era, was made then but maybe never sold in a store, and so it's still packaged as a brand new item. And I've been able to find everything from socks to dinnerware to hair dryers, all sorts of weird things that have just stayed in their new box. And so we're actually able to resell it as a new vintage item. So if somebody wanted, let's say, a hairdryer that had that look and everything from the era, they could buy the actual thing, and it's like brand new. So they're able to pull it out of the box and have essentially a brand new vintage item. I love being able to find that. It's a little harder to find those, but it's a great find when you find something like that. All right, I can't say I carry a purse very often myself, but we do carry purses here in the store, and we found quite a few nice vintage purses and clutches, and some of these I love. Like, I love the bright colors. Now, my personal favorites, not that I'm going to carry a purse, but I like these big ones with the bright colors, but we've found quite a few. We just picked this one up today, actually. This is, again, new old stock. It appears to be brand new. There's still the stuffing in the lining. The lining is totally untouched, and this looks like something Marilyn Monroe might have carried around or something like that. So I think this is a beautiful piece, but it's yours if you want it.
Oh, that was great, Leah. Fantastic. And of course, it's that haircut and
It was a step. It grows. Hair grows. The man's in a pretty good spot right now.
It was beautiful. And, I had one of the things about jazz, of course, has always been that it's improvisation, and you never know what's going to happen. It's never repeated. At Steamers, I presented over 9,300 concerts, and some people would say, "Oh, don't you get bored of that?" And I'm thinking, well, some people, yeah, but no. The truth of the matter is that each and every time, every performance is something different, and believe it or not, there are still plenty of people that I never got an opportunity to experience at Steamers. And Leah was one of them, with the exception of she came in with Syncopation, right?
Yes, Mount Sac.
Yeah,
yep.
That's right. She was there with Syncopation, a vocal ensemble from Mount Sac up here. And, of course, I love the band there. But, again, maybe you didn't have the fringe at that time, or you didn't stick out as much. But anyway, and then
keep talking about it.
But I had the great pleasure, of course, of hearing her and falling in love with her voice and her stage presence and all that, and just really, really a pleasure to now work with her all the time with Tony, and hopefully in the future. we're hoping that this thing ends quickly. A couple of things I want to mention before I have.
Are you talking about this clip right now, or you're talking about the crisis? Got it. Yeah.
One or the other. One or the other. Or wait a second, Tony. This clip is a crisis. Or my intro is a crisis. One of the two. I do know one thing. I can tell you that. Well, I'm just very grateful for all of this, and it's a lovely thing to have all you guys come on here and do this.
It's like golden.
I know, and I've got some people telling me all over the place that the sound is good and it looks good, and I'm really appreciative of that. Got to thank all the people like Tim and Jack for putting this on. I want to remind you, we hope you guys will comment on the Facebook thing. Let people know, let the musicians know how much you love them. We appreciate it. There's also a place that you can donate on the clip if you want to donate towards the musicians. And also, if you can't find the donate button, go to the Seed Engine on Facebook, Campus Jack Facebook. Tony.
Yes, sir.
Lead this in.
I will. So let me talk a little bit about Leah, and then I want to meet Gareth. I don't think we've ever met face to face. So Leah, I first heard about almost 4 years ago now. We both played at a show that was dedicated to Lou Matthews, the great piano player. And so we met that night, and then just little by little started doing actually, I hired her for something, having only heard her sing one song on that night. And I was kind of nervous the whole time going in, thinking I'm going to feature her on this night. And I'm not, for all I know, that's the one song she's got that's any good. And sure enough, she blew the crowd away, and she's easily one of my favorite singers ever. And because of that, I've just had the pleasure of having her in my band now for the last couple of years. And we have a lot of fun doing that. And just, frankly, at this point, when people ask about my band, they're always asking if Leah's going to be there. So my band without Leah is sort of shot at this point.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait a second, Tony.
Yeah.
Gina was there when Leah was out with.
Well, Gina. Now, Gina's been one of my favorites for a long time.
Yeah.
Since the first time I heard Gina, the very first words out of my mouth were, "She's the real deal." So, and in fact, Gina sang on my album I did just 5 years ago. That was. I love Gina, of course. But Leah, we want to hear from you about how you're adjusting to everything. And Gareth, I know that I don't know that we've ever met face to face, but I've certainly been hearing your name a lot, and I know you're playing all over town as well as playing at Disney. And so, anyways, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You too, Gareth.
So, hi, guys, how are you adjusting? What's going on?
We're doing all right. Jeannie was talking earlier about doing video lessons. Everything is online now. I am doing the same thing with my private students, and it's definitely a different vibe. It's a little bit more difficult. You have to be a little bit more creative, but I mean, we're still going. We're keeping it moving. We gotta do something while this is happening. So we're doing all right.
Yeah, Disney has kind of obviously sent a lot of their employees away. Luckily, I did have a grid there, unlike some of all the other guys that I know who are just subs. So Disney is paying us through our gridded time, but from then on, I guess the end of this month, it's always a little uncertain. So, but we'll see. But we're just quarantining away and just swinging on 8th Street. Whenever we can.
That's where we live, by the way.
Long Beach.
On 8th Street in Long Beach.
So.
By the way, in case you guys can't hear it, Fred Hammond says Leah rules, and Richard Sandoval says Leah blew him away, and they're also saying, "Where's the Tony and Leah album?"
Oh,
there you go,
Tony. I don't know if you want to say anything to that. You want to speak to that, sir? Are you frozen? I think Tony might be frozen here.
I think his cocktail's frozen. I don't know if he is, but
yeah.
Why don't you guys go ahead and since he's frozen, why don't you guys go ahead and perform?
Right.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So we don't have a chordal player here, so we're just going to do a little percussion and voice. This is 1929 Fats Waller, Ain't Misbehaving. I don't know what to do. No one to walk with, but I'm happy on this ship. Baby, saving my love for you.
That one I love. Yes, I'm through with flirting. It's you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving. Yes, I'm saving my love for you.
Like the corner in the corner, I don't go nowhere. Oh, do I care? Your kisses are always waiting for, baby.
I don't stay out late. I don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving. Saving my love for you. Yes, like Jack Horner in the corner. Don't go nowhere. What do I care? Your lovely kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, yeah.
I must say I'm ready, don't let it go. I'm but I'm ready, I'm ready to go. Saving my love.
Ain't misbehaving. I'm saving my love.
I ain't misbehaving.
Yes, saving my love for you.
I started us a little bit too low, so we had to adjust in the middle there.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
There you go.
3 minutes before we got to shut you down.
I think we can do it.
Now, I was a little, I was impressed to see Gareth sing because I didn't know that that was a thing, but I also happen to know Leah plays the snare drum. So this could have been a whole thing, you know.
Well, yeah,
Ben,
we're working
it's
on it. We're working on it.
Yeah. Okay.
One more?
Yeah, how about a quickie?
You are the one, only you beneath the moon under the sun. Whether near to me or far, no matter darling, where you are, I think of you night and day. Why is it so? Nothing longing for you follows wherever I go. And the roaring traffic's growing silence of a lonely room. I think of you night and day. Under the there's an awesome song behind burning inside of me. And it's torment all the through till you let me spend my life with love. Night and day. Night and day.
Nice.
Well, it sounds, really because of the placement of the camera, that was Leah playing the drums, right?
Right. Good job.
As per request. Yeah,
Hey, fantastic, guys. Thank you.
we really appreciate it so much.
All right. Well,
Keep us informed. Thank you so much for doing this and helping us out.
yeah. Good luck to you. Get through these next 2 weeks.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Tony, what do we got next?
Well, I think we've got another little video we shot at our Rat Pack Vintage store. So we're just going to talk about some fun little items. And again, for those of you just joining us, this is a little shop that my wife and my in-laws opened up that we can just sort of pursue our love of vintage stuff and vintage shopping, and gives us a place to put all those things and share the things that we have found and purchased, and sell them to people who also love this. So these clips are not to try to get you to buy anything tonight. It's just to sort of share our love of that. And if you want to see more of that, you can check it out at the best one is our Instagram page. We share a lot there, and that's just Rat Pack Vintage, or you can go to ratpackvintage.com or our Facebook page. And it's just fun stuff. I just love that whole era of the mid-century, and so I think we've got a clip from that from last week when we were at the
May I interject one thing before we bring it in? Want to let people know also that we're doing these little segments. There's plenty to come. Bill Santos is going to be here.
Cantos.
Chris Barron will be here. Kate Flannery will be here. Plus a lot of more of Tony and I just talking about who knows what. But I just want to let you know a lot of people are loving this. And Tim Ellis and Jack Jasper from Campus JAX. I just got a text from Champion Fulton, who loved it. She's an incredible jazz pianist and vocalist from New York. She said she wants to join in next week or whenever we get a chance. So we're going to get some other people doing this all over the world, hopefully.
Right
we
on.
appreciate it. Go for it, Tony.
All right. Well, just go ahead and roll the tape. Right now, one of my favorite things we have in the store is this 4-glass cocktail set, and I just think these are so gorgeous, and it's really hard to find glassware from the era that hasn't worn down some of the colors or some of the metallic gold on it, and this one seems to be in pristine, brand new condition, but I just love the colors and the design on these. I think this is a fantastic one. We found this set recently, which I just think is gorgeous. It's from the 1950s, and it's basically in brand new condition. It's this beautiful dice box, and then you open it up, and there's this gorgeous little set in here with 4 matching glasses, and again, just love finding stuff like this. This is a fantastic piece. Well, it'd be hard to call our little shop Rat Pack Vintage without featuring some Sinatra. So we do have this, which I think is a great little piece. It's from 1943, and it's Hits on Parade from Frank Sinatra, and it's all of his big hits, the sheet music for his big hits at the time. But this kind of thing I love. I love little books and things from the era. Like this is a barbecue book, the Big Boy Barbecue book, which is just these great pictures and recipes from the era. The little children's book has some beautiful little artwork in it. Just very, very classic looking images. And this one's embarrassingly a favorite of mine, but it's a 1940s handbook on menstruation. So if you need to read up on that, but it has my favorite page is this one here, which lists all the things you can do and the things you shouldn't do when it's that time. But not going to find that too many places. So no surprise that I love vintage ties, and I have a collection of, I don't know, probably 200 of them at home. So it makes sense that I would offer some of those here in the store. And so we have a rack of some vintage ties, and I mean, this again, just you don't find designs like this anymore. But I just love this sort of look in a tie. And I'm not a huge fan personally of the wide ties, but we do have a couple of these. These are Countess Mara ties, which were one of Frank Sinatra's favorite brands. So, again, Rat Pack Vintage, we got to offer some Sinatra. So you can certainly come by and check out some of these.
Oh, that was great, Tony. That was great. I want to let you know I just got. I'm having fun here because in addition to watching the videos and hearing the great music, all of our fans are chiming in. Speaking of the word chime, and Lynette Page.
Now hold on. When you say our fans,
yes,
you're not lumping your 3 or 4 in with my hundreds, right?
yes,
Oh.
no. My fan is above, keeping me cool. It's a ceiling fan.
Got it.
The fans of Steamers Jazz at Campus Jacks, the fans of Tony Guerrero,
got it.
The fans of the Rat Pack Vintage.
All right.
Lynette Page just said she's having a watch party. So,
Lynette Page is the one who introduced me to Campus Jack. So I owe her a big thank you for that. So,
yes.
Hey, I'm going to introduce our next guest. This is a guy who I met back in the late 80s when I was just starting out my little fledgling jazz career. And I connected with this guy who had already been around the block a few times. Not because he's a ton older than me. He's not that much older than me, but he had been playing with a lot of great people. And I think he had just finished playing with Freddie Hubbard back then. So I'm sure it was a big thrill when he started playing in my band after that. But I get to introduce him now. We've been able to stay really great friends all these years. And I'm thrilled to bring him on the show right now. Please say hello to Mr. Bill Cantos.
Hello.
Hey, Bill.
Hello. How are you?
We're doing good. Good to see you, Bill.
I had this whole big reveal planned. I have my bathrobe over here. I was going to sit here in my bathrobe and then throw my bathrobe off and I don't know, imagine all of that.
I'm going to try not to imagine that actually.
It seemed like a good idea like 10 minutes ago and I just abandoned it.
How's this craziness going for you?
Well, it's as crazy as everybody else is, and I don't know, we're going through, we're just kind of dealing with it, and one step at a time. I'm still making music. I'm still here working on projects with people, doing probably what you're doing, which is doing tracks at home for people and sitting here or at the computer and just at least somehow making connection, but
right.
Doing
what we can.
Yes. Just kind of
now, Bill, I haven't asked you what you're going to perform right now, but of course, when that song is done, I'm going to have to ask you to do a little improvised thing on the coronavirus situation. Right. So, just so you know.
All right. I figured that might happen. So.
Okay, good.
But I didn't plan anything because
that's even better. That's even better. But why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right. Speaking of. This is a song for me back in the day about an album I did 20 years ago, which is really scary that this album came out 20 years ago. And it was a song I wrote on the way home from a Tony Guerrero gig. I do not know which gig. I want to say Kikuya, but I'm not really sure. It could have been Steamers. It could have been all sorts of places. But I had all these great standards and all these things that you were doing at that particular gig in my head. And literally, I just started thinking, okay, if I were going to write a song like that, who would I write it about? What would I do? And this came out. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Very good, man.
It's called Give Me That Smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have to wear a girlish pout, whisper low or scream and shout. If you really want to knock me out, you just have to give me that smile. Well, you don't have to put on French perfume, play the socialite and work the room. If you want to make my heart go zoom, you just have to give me that smile. Oh, the one that makes my day now, takes my breath away now. I truly have to say now, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. You don't have to wear designer clothes or strike an apathetic model pose. Girl, the secret's right under your nose. You just have to give me that smile. You just have to give me that smile. Yeah. Hey, oh, you don't have to write a chansonette. Act out Romeo and Juliet. You don't have to work that hard, my pet. You just have to give me that smile. Well, you don't have to build a love nest for two, like Chip and Joanna taught you how to do. If you wanna make my gray sky blue, you just have to give me that smile. Oh, it gets my full attention, and it amounts my apprehension. One more time I'd like to mention, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. You don't have to catch a falling star or paint I love you on the hood of my car. You can get me wherever we are. You just have to give me that smile. You just have to give me that smile. You just have to come on and give me that smile. Give me. Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Bill. If I had a nickel for every song lyric I wrote with the word chansonette in it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'd have a nickel.
Actually, I'd have no nickels. All right, so listen, we've only got a couple minutes left. We're trying to keep to a schedule here.
All right.
But folks, many years ago, Bill was on a gig with me, and I sort of challenged him to sing a little impromptu thing about the situation we were in at that time, which was just at a jazz club, and I don't remember the details of that particular night, but it's just turned into this thing that I love that Bill does, where he just kind of riffs on it. And so I'm gonna I didn't tell him about it before he called in, but I'm gonna ask him to just give us a little off the cuff spin of what you're seeing in the world right now.
Ha. All right then. I thought about what I might be singing if I were called to sing a little special occasion music for this, I guess you should say, very special occasion. And I thought about all sorts of things. You've seen those things online when they say, oh, what song would you sing? On all the, and people are like the rockin' pneumonia and the boogie woogie flu and all that business. And I thought, I could do, hey 19, no, we can't dance together unless we're 6 feet apart or something like that. But I didn't think that would be, I didn't have anything else to put in that. So I thought that I might sing a song by Irving Berlin which says, there is nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love. And there's a whole thing that we could do with that. But he asked for the blues, so I will sing a very short blues about how I'd like to find some antibacterial wipes Because we've got toilet paper for days, and we've gotten paper towels 13 ways, but I don't have any bacterial wipes, pro or antibacterial wipes. It doesn't really count if you have the just regular ones, the ones that just say they're for a baby's bottom, but they're not antibacterial. Because that is the magic word. That is the magic word. It has come to be understood that if you really want to do this good, you need antibacterial wipes. Singing about antibacterial wipes. I need antibacterial wipes. Oh, I got to have some antibacterial wipes. Oh, if anybody out there has some extra that they could spare, maybe just FedEx me a 10 or 20 antibacterial wipes. Oh.
Fantastic.
I would have guessed that might be the only song written about antibacterial wipes, but these days, who knows? There may
Who
be a
knows?
bunch.
There's probably some other ones out there.
Right. Well, thank you for being with us, Bill.
We really appreciate it, Bill. Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate all of you. I love you guys. I thank you, Terrence, for just everything, all the ways you support all of us, and I appreciate that. And
give our
Tony,
best to Mary.
I sure will. She sends her love.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. What do we have? A clip from Tony next? Fly Me to the Moon?
Yeah, actually, this is my band, but I don't think I actually play on this tune, so you might really like it. It's although we've shown these clips of my band, but I haven't really introduced. So Leah's going to be singing, but Matt Johnson will be on the drums. Dave Siebel's on the piano. Yeah, Dave Siebel's on piano. David Miller is playing bass, and I believe this night Bruce Babad was playing saxophone and flute, and so he'll be on this. And this is a classic. You all know this song. Fly Me to the Moon.
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Gave it his all, folks.
the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me.
If you know anything about antique shopping or vintage shopping, you know that the Orange Circle is one of the greatest places in all of Southern California for that. And even just to walk these streets here, it looks like it never left the 1950s. And in fact, they shoot a lot of movies here just for that reason. We found this little space. It's here in the Antique Depot, which is an antique mall. So basically, there's a lot of vendors in this one mall. And so we found a space here in the Antique Depot. We're downstairs, and we have our little space. We're going to expand it into more spaces and see what happens. All right, so one of the things I love from this era are the vintage radios, and I'm always thrilled when we find one, and if you can find one that is in perfect working order, one, it's very rare because a lot of old electronics in there, and two, they're really pricey when you find them like that. So I like to find these beautiful old units, and I tinker a little bit. I'm not a genius with this stuff, but I have figured out how to take some of these and rewire. I can't fix the original components, but I can rewire them for Bluetooth. And so that's what I've been doing because a lot of people, a lot of these old radios were only AM. So when you buy a radio like this, it's great if it's in original working order, but you won't be able to listen to a lot of music with it. So by doing this and rewiring it for Bluetooth, I'm able to, like this, just play anything off my playlist. Little Sinatra for you.
Hey,
No, Kate's not live yet. Terrence
Kate's
and I are
not live yet. This is Terrence Love, Steamers Jazz, and Tony Guerrero, and we're all here, Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX tonight, doing this. For those of you who are just tuning in now, we've had the great pleasure of doing some live clips and some live streaming here, plus some other things. Watching Tony have some whiskey and seeing him in his own home, and the people have been very, very depressed lately, and we're doing our best to bring it to them live here. And of course, the musicians like to have people, listen to what they're like, at home too. So we're really, really honored and thrilled to have Kate here tonight. Let's hear for Kate Flannery.
Yeah.
Are you there?
You guys.
So, hey, I'm gonna do a nice long introduction, even though you're already with us.
Fantastic.
But one of the greatest things that's come across my fledgling little career here over the last 5 years is that I've been able to do these shows with Jane Lynch, and part of that package deal was getting to meet this fantastic lady who's joining us, Kate Flannery, who I have to say at the time, I don't even know if I ever told her this, but I met Jane and Kate roughly the same time because we were going to start these shows together, but I was more nervous about meeting Kate because at the time I was really obsessing on The Office. And so I was really excited to meet Kate. And now that I know Kate and Jane, I'm way more nervous around Jane. But
and that's your first mistake, Tony.
Right. No, she's the greatest.
She's the
But I'm just so thrilled that I've been able to add you into my life, and so
I
I'm
feel
glad.
the same way.
And I'm so glad you're here.
Amazing musician. Literally, you are an amazing musician, but you're also an amazing human being.
Well, let's have more of that.
Well, it's true. It's true. And I feel like, this is the thing about artists. Some artists are terrible human beings, but when they do what they do, they're fantastic. And they're lovable. Tony, you happen to have, you're that way all the time, no matter what. If you pick up the trumpet or not, you're still lovable. So,
well, thank you very much.
It's a very rare thing.
Thank you.
Very rare. Yes. And after spending office, I just want to say, like, if you work in an office, you don't have to go to your office. That's kind of feel really good, right? You can just watch it on Netflix and like turn it on and turn it off wherever you feel like it. So I'm just saying.
Okay, I just had an idea for you. You need to get a still photo of the office set with no cast in it, just the empty office, and put it out as a new episode.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'd like a big cut of it too. No,
right.
No. Yeah, that's fantastic. But there is a lot of love for The Office, and I know people are binging. They've been binging, watching, but now it's even more of a time to, kind of just whatever you can do right now to make it feel good. Whatever you can do to feel good, that is the goal, I think. Right?
Yeah, and also, you had an amazing run this past year on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was so exciting to watch, and I was so glad to be able to go and see it live a couple of times.
Yeah.
But how great to watch you doing that.
That was so crazy. I can't even believe that happened. And then to get to do the tour, I had to take off the tour a little bit. Like I was supposed to go back this week, but I did 43 of the 54 shows. Right.
Wait, Tim, just so you know, Tim, I'm getting some feedback. I think it's coming through Chris's feed. I'm hearing some feedback here.
Okay, good. I do. Okay, good.
Right, but we're hearing it louder than ourselves right now. So sorry. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hey.
Okay, good. Okay. So, Kate, we might have lost some of what you were saying. You were out on the road with Dancing with the Stars. We're having a little technical issue here.
Okay. You know what? We're all having some technical difficulties, if you know what I'm saying. This is like the story of our life. For some people, it means no TP, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I just got off the road. I literally was on a rock and roll bus for real. I did 43 of the 54 cities that I was supposed to do, but the whole tour was 80 cities. But I as a Dance with the Stars celeb, I did more than anybody else and was planned on. I got picked to do more than that. So I feel like I won, even though I didn't win. I feel like I won.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, you won in my eyes. You were fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. I feel like getting to do the tour was like winning for sure. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I can tell you when you with the Swinging Little Christmas with Jane, I could not believe your dancing skills there. I mean, I was quite impressed, and I didn't get a chance to see Dancing with the Stars, although I heard that you had done so well in it. I was like, whoa, this woman can dance, and you did it well.
Well, I mean, when I do, when we do the Swinging Little Christmas shows live, my dancing is more of a punchline, but that's okay. It's all good though, right? I mean, I'm in on the joke, right? So it doesn't matter, right? I don't know.
Now listen, I'm going to give a little shout out to Chris, because I know he's there right now. Chris, your boyfriend, who you've been with since you met on The Office.
He's left.
And and I'm talking about him because I love Chris also, and he's a professional photographer, so he's got you all set up right there with a nice lighting and a nice feed.
He does.
Oh.
He's the best. And for Office fans, he was actually in the last episode of The Office dancing with Meredith at Dwight.
That's right.
So I'm just
That's right. He's a star. He's a star in his own right.
And he did our album cover for Swinging Little Christmas with Jane Lynch.
That's right.
So there you go. He photographed the album cover. So come on. We got to win. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna do one song, and it could be really a train wreck because I realize we have some technical, whatever. We'll figure it out.
I shut the sound.
That's right. We're all about train wrecks.
Okay, great. And this song I got to do in New York at the Carlisle Hotel. for our residency a year and a half ago, which was so awesome. September of 1998, which feels like a million years ago, right? Feels like
Right. Gosh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, in a way, it really was. It's kind of crazy. Oh my gosh, that's right. Okay, sorry, I'm starting music. And what's so nice is that Jane and I have this, newer show that we do with Tony called Two Lost Souls. It's not our Christmas show; it's something else. And we're hoping to get to do it. We're supposed to do it in Alaska this September. So I'm hoping that works out.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our June dates too. I'm hoping this craziness is over by then.
Absolutely.
And we have to get back to the Carlisle because the lovely bathrobe you bought me at the Carlisle caught on fire recently.
What were you doing? Were you snorting? Were you freebasing? What were you doing with the flame near your robe?
I was cooking. I was making breakfast, and I just wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking.
All right.
All of a sudden, my wife screamed because I was engulfed in flames. That's a little more dramatic than it actually was, but it did get singed.
Well,
all that to say, I need another bathrobe, Kate, is what I'm getting at.
We can make that happen no matter what.
All right,
hopefully
good.
with the show. Yeah.
All right.
Only with the with the show. All right. So is it okay if I do a song from?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We want it.
No, I'm so lucky that I get to sing because for years I sang I couldn't sing without a wig on. So it's nice to be able to just sing as myself, whatever the hell that means. I was sang in character. So yeah, my career has taken very many weird turns, and I'm super grateful for it. So, I'm gonna sing this song. Tony arranged it. It's sort of with the Tony Guerrero Quintet. Hopefully, you guys can hear. If you need to hear more music, tell me. I don't know. I can't see you, so I don't. There's no signal. Okay, we're jumping out of an airplane. Here we go. More music. Someone's being bashful. That's no way to be, not with me. Can't you see that I am just as embarrassed as you, and I can understand your point of view? Hit it. This is Matt Johnson on vocals. I've always been shy. I confess that I'm shy. Can't you guess that this confident air is a mask that I wear? 'Cause I'm shy. What's happening? And you may be sure, way down deep I'm demure. Though some people I know might deny it, at bottom I'm quiet and pure. I'm aware that it's wrong to be meek as I am. My chances may pass me by. I pretend to be strong, but as weak as I am, all I can do is try. God knows I try, though I'm frightened and shy. And despite the impression I give, I confess that I'm living a lie. Because I'm actually terribly timid and horribly shy. Take it, boys. Dance break. So much better live. I'm aware that it's wrong to be meek as I am. My chances may pass me by. I pretend to be strong, but as weak as I am, all I can do is try. God knows I try, though I'm frightened and shy. And despite the impression I give, I confess that I'm living a lie. Because I'm actually terribly timid and horribly shy. 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 I'm shy. Thank you. Well,
That's fabulous.
Great as always.
Okay, you guys are very kind. Thank you. This is quarantine show business. Here we are. It was fantastic in my room all alone. I'm a genius all by myself.
Kate.
Sorry.
Hey, Kate, can I tell you some of the comments that were made?
Okay, yes.
Kate, your hair is so long. I love it. That's from, and then I did not expect dancing. And then John says, does anyone know if Kate is shy? Sounding great.
Thank you so much. You know that's a reason why a lot of people drink, right?
That's why I'm on the soda water.
Well, I'm enjoying my Quarantini.
I love it. You guys, thank you so much for having me. Tony, you're the best.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kate.
And face to face soon. And you know, I wanted to sing this. I wanted to sing the Police song. Please don't stand so close to me.
Well, we do have another song from you because we're about to show a video
awesome.
of our cocktail party we threw a year and a half ago or so.
Fantastic.
So we're gonna show that right now. But I hope to see you face to face soon, and I love you. And
give my love to everybody, please.
I will talk to you soon, Kate.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Kate. Bye-bye. All right, Tony.
Hey, you should sing. You should. Did you sing? You know what? Oh, come on.
Mine isn't a dinner, and your heart is in a haze. I'll hit your dinner and do your haze with a magic phrase. If you're chased around by trouble and followed by a dream, I'll jinx your trouble and trouble your jinx in less than 40 weeks. Oh, sigh like a doodle, magic a boodle, bibbidi bobbidi boo. Put 'em together and what do you got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Sigh like a doodle, magic a boodle,
back.
All right.
Oh,
that was great. That was great.
Kate Flannery joining us about a year and a half ago or so at our little cocktail party.
And that's Matt's house, right?
That is Matt's house. Yeah, I'll give everybody the address if everybody wants to grab a pen, and I'll give the address, and you can go visit him. He loves drop-in visitors, guys.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Tony's going to bring a clip in for the big band next, but I want to make a little mention to all the people who are being so kind and commenting and giving us feedback on this. There's also a link. We appreciate it, and the musicians certainly appreciate it. There's a link there. If you want to donate something, you certainly can. There's also, you can go to the Campus JAX Seed Engine link there also if you want to do anything. And so far, people seem to be really enjoying this, and the musicians are liking it. We've already talked to a few other people that want to come up in the next few weeks, and hopefully we're not in this forever, but while we're sequestered, we're going to continue doing this, right?
Right on.
Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX. Tony, take it away, buddy.
All right, so just in the past year or so, I've had the opportunity, thanks to the Festival of Arts and Susan at the Festival of Arts and Susan Davis, I'm going to give her full name there, and the team at Campus JAX, I've been able to have a big band, which is something that I never really thought I would do, but it's something that I love doing each time I've gotten to do it. And so we're going to show a clip from the big band's recent performance there. And that's what we were supposed to be doing tonight. Tonight was supposed to be the big band. And I did have one of the musicians who I guess didn't get my last message call. He texted me and saying, are we still on for tomorrow night? And so this is a clip from the big band, but I do have to make one apology to one of the members of the band for this clip, because as I was watching it, I was horrified to realize that, part of the problem of doing a new band is it's sometimes hard to get all of the new music and the new arrangements in your head. And in this particular tune, at one point in the song, I must have thought like, I think I'm supposed to be taking a solo right here, even though I'd already taken one. And I started playing, but when I watched the clip, I noticed the trombone player was back there trying to take a solo, and I was stepping all over him. So my apologies.
It's always to a trombone player.
I mean, it's a trombone. So, but my apologies to Mike Salazzo for that. But you will see him and some of the other guys in the band glaring at me while I'm oblivious up at the front. But anyways, this is of course a great tune, one of my favorites to do, called "When You're Smiling," and this is the Bunch of My Friends big band live at Campus JAX. A lot of the furniture I love from the era carries over that space age appeal. Like we do have one table here in the store that has that. There's a shape that they call the amoeba shape, which you see in a lot of ashtrays, but you also see it in coffee tables. And so I love a great amoeba shaped coffee table. The couches are, generally like nice and streamlined, and we have some coffee tables that are Noguchi-styled coffee tables, which once you see them, right away this is mid-century, and it's about as space age and cocktail as you can get. When you look at something like this, it's real obvious what you're talking about. Lamps are another thing. We have quite a few lamps that just have this big, beautiful design to them, and we've got a gorgeous Murano lamp that is this blown glass thing. It's just beautiful to look at. There's a lot of variety in mid-century furniture, but there's also this aesthetic to it that just, I think, carries over to today as something that is still very appealing to the eye. It's just like the architecture. It's just something that has never really lost its flavor. You can find most of our furniture listed online. Just contact us if it's something you're interested in. There's just some great pieces that I love. One of my favorite things to do as I'm vintage shopping is look for albums that are from artists I've never heard of, and I've found some great music that way. People maybe only put out a couple of albums or obscure albums from great artists, but it just there's a vibe there that it's hard to define, but that era of music just had a vibe that it's hard to recreate now, but I love trying.
All right. We usually close the night with this, but we're not going to close. We're going to do a couple more after this. Oh, that would have been a great place to start. When you do that, I'm going to play the mode.
You want me to do the thanks right now or after Chris? Okay. We're going to talk first. I want to do one more thing. I'm going to do a little push, so.
Smiling